Salute, comrades. This is Behind the Walls Talk with your founder, William McCallum, and I thank you for visiting this domain. I'm here to give you an insight into the minds and hearts of those incarcerated that have been deemed voiceless. Well, this is where their voice and stories will be told for those of you who are concerned with human beings that are in prison for the mistakes they have made and for some of the injustices that were committed against them. Resolutions for reform is the goal and objective looking to be obtained. Now step into our world. Welcome to Behind the Walls Talk with your host, William McCallum. And I have a guest here with me today, man. Me and this brother right here who was at the Heart of You program. This is where we met at. He has enlightened me upon a lot of issues pertaining to the law, revolutionary tactics, and everything else, man, just in life in general. And this brother right here, man, I hope he's going to enlighten you too as well with this interview. So without further ado, tell the listeners, my brother, what's your name and where are you from?
Good morning. I would like to say thank you to Behind the Wall Talks, Frankie and yourself. I'm humbled to be a part of this movement, and I would like to say
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
I'd like to say thank you for everything that y'all are doing. My name is Shawn Bonnett, Shawn Derek Bonnett. My ID number is 0037215. I'm originally from Queens, New York, but I came down here to the Bertie area.
Okay. Now, what were you convicted of, and how much time did they give you?
I was convicted of felony murder rule, and I received a death sentence.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
A death sentence plus 9 years.
The death sentence plus 9 years? How they going to give you death sentence plus 9 years?
Like I said in the courtroom when they sentenced me, I don't know how, after they killed me, I guess they was going to put barbed wire fences around my grave, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? The sentence itself didn't make sense.
Okay, so right now you have life without parole, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how much time did you do on death row?
I was on death row for a total of 18 years.
When they initially gave you the death sentence plus 9 years, like what was the thoughts that was going through your mind? Like what was the feeling that you were having?
Well, the emotions that you go through, the emotions that I went through, it's still hard to describe. It's probably 30 years ago, and it's still hard to describe, to know and understand that somebody's standing over you telling you when you're about to die. It gives you a death warrant at that time, and that's probably a month from the time that you get the death sentence. So I'm thinking that I had a month to live, not knowing that once I got to death row, they was going to enact a stay, and the stay was going to, you're going to stay the death sentence itself until you go through the parole process, or go through the appeal process. And once that appeal process is over with, then it reenacts the death warrant on you, and that's what they execute you with.
So what was your experience like on death row?
It's kind of hard to describe. I wasn't in any kind of physical danger because of who I am, but it was more of an emotional trauma because I was up there 18 years, so, quite naturally, once you're surrounded with people that's facing the same death sentence with you, it's human nature to get attached to people that are like-minded like yourself. So I became close to majority of my Muslim brothers. So when it was time to see that their time was up, it forces you to think about your own morality and what's next for you. You're happy it's not you, but you're also sad that it's your friend. And then to have to wake up the next morning and a person you be eating breakfast with or lunch with or playing basketball with or crying with or talking to with or praying with you're just not there no more, and everything in the prison just runs normally. Like it's just bugged out. It's just you can't process it. I don't understand how to process that.
It sounds very inhumane, man. It's like, you know, so just to go through that experience and everything, you know, so you shouldn't have to go through no experience like that in life. You know, so especially
no human's supposed to go through that. True indeed. No human's supposed to go through that. I don't think that a human should tell another human that they can't live, even though they took a life. But you can't take a life and then tell somebody else, I'm gonna kill you because you killed somebody else. Like, I don't understand how that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense by any kind of religion or anything. You know what I'm saying? Man shouldn't have that power.
It's like two wrongs don't make a right, right?
Yeah, it definitely isn't. You know what I'm saying? And bro, like I said, it's just indescribable to think about your friend, your best friend that you go through this struggle with, and then you got to just go on with life without him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had friends that obviously committed murders to be there, and myself, I wasn't the trigger person in my case. So I tend to click up with the people that were like myself, that was on death row for murders that they didn't commit. Me, I had a family murder rule. I was a lookout in an armed robbery. So somebody else killed the man without my knowledge, or without my pre-knowledge that this was going to happen. I was just there. And I was the only one that received, out of the four, received the death sentence.
Oh. You ain't supposed to be on. You never supposed to be on death row to begin with. You only supposed to have a life sentence, because you wasn't even, like you say, you was just a lookout.
I was just a lookout. Like my brother, it's like the miscarriage of justice in his legal system.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
You know, with the family murder rule, the way the law is designed, you're equally responsible for somebody else's actions that is grown. I can't tell another grown person what to do and what not to do. You know what I'm saying? So how am I supposed to be responsible for somebody else's actions? And that's the situation I got caught up in. Like, I was trying to prove that I didn't want this person to be killed. I didn't, but the underlying felony is what got me involved with once I okayed.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
By proxy, I also okayed to the murder. But I didn't know the murder was going to happen. The murder was, I guess, spontaneous from the person that did its point of view. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I never put myself in that situation again, or any situation like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I find it crazy how they put your life on the line and everything for somebody else's doing, for somebody else's actions that they did, the decisions
somebody
that they made.
So indeed. That's between them and God. What can I say?
Yeah, that's right. You know, because, you know what I'm saying, it's the choices and decisions that we make that dictates our tomorrows. So if it's somebody else's choices and decisions that they make that dictates our tomorrow, what does that make our choices and decisions? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd rather be responsible for my own actions, you know, especially as a man and as an adult. If I make a mistake, I ask for forgiveness or whatever. I ask forgiveness from a law or from the victim. But how can I ask forgiveness for something I didn't do? So it's hard to have remorse for somebody else's actions. I can't have remorse for something I didn't do. See what I'm saying? So the healing process, even though after it was 30 years, even though the healing process has never really set in with me, I'm sorry that it happened. I didn't want the person to die, but like, I can't be responsible for somebody else's actions that I didn't tell to do something. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
I didn't want this to happen. I didn't plan it to happen. I didn't even know where I was at on the map. You could have pointed a map to me and said, "Yo, where you at right now?" And I didn't even know where I was at. I just came home. I was just riding around with a bunch of friends because I just came home from prison, and we were drinking beers, and I was in the back seat, and then they stopped at a store, you know. And by me being in prison 4.5 years, like 2 beers was, that put you to sleep. So I was in the back seat pretty much. I was in the back seat pretty much sleep the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Until we pulled up to the store and went into the store. I didn't have prior knowledge of this was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't anything planned, but at the end of the day, I was still responsible for somebody else's actions. I wish I could have be remorseful right now. I wish I could. I do feel remorse, but it's more so towards my family. You know what I'm saying? The fact that my kids haven't had a father for 30 years. My 17 grandkids, I can't play with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, you got 17 grandkids. Well, I got one, and I'm excited about him. I got one on the way. I got one now and one on the way, so I'm about to have 2. You got 17.
my sons ain't playing, man. I'm blessed in that aspect. So, although I was stunted as far as my personal bloodline, my kids has been, my 3 sons has been pushing the family bloodline forward.
That's good, man. That's very good. That's very good, man. So how long have you now been incarcerated?
I've been incarcerated since 1996. So I guess that's 28 years. I count the 4.5 years I did right before that because I was only home 10 weeks in between the time. So I say 32 altogether because that's like a quick home plan or whatever. I wasn't even home long enough to get adjusted to society.
Boy, that's something I love, man. Damn. And do you have, so you were telling me about your sons and everything, so I'm pretty sure they were the ones that give you your moral and mental support. Do you have moral and mental support from someone else other than your sons out there in society?
Oh, man. First, I got to give all praises due to Allah. He's the reason. Block hot. He's the reason that I do everything for. But my moral support comes from, and the only reason that I took this life sentence to get off of death row is so I could touch my kids, so I could visit my kids. Because at the time of taking that life sentence and signing that plea for the life sentence, I didn't know that what I know now, 15 years later, that I could have a possibility of getting out. The laws kind of changed. But while you're on death row, you can't have contact visits. So that was the only reason for me to live is to be a part of their lives, to see them and have kind of look forward to a visit and look forward to my kids growing up and just trying to be a part of their life because I felt like mine was over.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Hey, look, I want you to call back, my brother. Hey, Behind the Walls Talk will continue. Behind the Walls Talk continue with my brother Shawn Bonnett. Hey, Mr. Bonnett, hey, tell me, my brother, like, since you came off of death row and received life without parole, what has your experiences been like in prison? Because, you know, they got these new laws coming out and everything, man. Senate Bill 681, and it's got the MAP program and everything, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they look for certain things within this MAP program, like what have your participation been in any classes or self-help courses or anything like that? What has your prison experience been like since you've been off of death row?
That's a good question, my brother. I got to start with initially, I did 10 years in isolation, 9 years, 8 months. So it was a major adjustment for me to get back used to being around people or being in the dormitory atmosphere. We tend to forget how sensory deprivation syndrome. Have you ever seen like in the ASPCA when animals grow up in cages and they finally open the door and then they never touched grass before, stuff like that?
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I went through. Like 10 years in a box, and then they open the door and with no kind of preparation, mental.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
Mental health assistance or anything.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
That was hard within itself. But also adjusting to some place coming off of death row, a place that I've been for 18 years, coming off of death row, it was very, very hard for me because I had survivor's guilt. It's like knowing, and they put me in the kitchen at Central Prison, like right away. So now I got to feed the same people that are my friends and people I consider family, my Muslim brothers. And I felt guilty for getting a reprieve and unknowing where I just left them at. I left them on the battlefield. So I couldn't adjust to that. They had to get me out of the kitchen. Like mentally, I couldn't adjust. I wanted to go back and go to recreation with them, go to classes with them, you know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't adjust to being off of death row. Like I felt like I was abandoning them when I supposed to be been happy that I got a reprieve, but I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Not mentally. So that was the first aspect. And then 6 months later, they sent me away from Central Prison to the Pastor Tank, and that was a major adjustment as well, because I was still dealing with survivor's guilt and wanting to go back to what I felt was normal for me. You know what I'm saying? My normal routine, which was death row. So trying to build a support group outside of that was challenging within itself because the system had changed. It wasn't the same system that I had left 20 years ago. Now you have gang members. Now you have a different mindset of officers. Now you have different rules. Now everything was changed. Everything was new. The old rules didn't apply. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the old convict rules, like you don't touch somebody's stuff, you don't steal, you don't tell on nobody. All the stuff that was a backbone of a convict was not there anymore. Like, so the only thing I could do was try to adjust to the law. I didn't want to talk sports with nobody, so I picked a subject that a lot of people were not abreast with. So I just poured myself into the law, and that's how me and you met. And I've been on that kick ever since. That's the only thing I could put my hope in, my law and my religion, and my family.
That's right, man. And I definitely understand that feeling that you're speaking about, too, man, that survivor's guilt. Like, you know, even like I got 6 years left of being incarcerated, you know, and I know when I get out, see, my passion is like, you know, I have that mind state like no soldiers to be left behind. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, and I know how it's going to feel, and I know that feeling that you're speaking about because, you know, getting out, and you still got all these brothers that's still going through the struggle, man. They're still fighting the conditions that they're living within, fighting their cases, dealing with the staff and administration, being wrongfully, you know what I'm saying, just subject to all the wrongfulness of what they're doing to them, you know what I'm saying, on a day-to-day basis, having to squat and cough, having to be told what to do, when to do it, everything of that sort, man. So, you know, I understand, man, like, you know, what the brothers is going through, but I know it's on a whole nother level where you coming from when you're saying that you dealing with your brothers and everything that you built this camaraderie with on death row. So, you know, I definitely understand, man. I got a gist of it. So, yeah, man. That's really, gotta see people out there in society, they don't understand that. They don't understand the camaraderie that we build with brothers behind these walls.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we have family out there in society, but we also have family behind these walls, and we create these bonds. And we shed tears together. We shed blood together. You know what I'm saying? We sweat together.
Sure indeed.
You know
sure indeed.
We wake up and go to rest with these brothers. You know what I'm saying? We with these brothers on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? We share our
It's
share our innermost desires and passions with these brothers. You feel me?
True indeed. True indeed. The people that are worthy to receive this information. But it's like, even like, for example, like, they stopped the gang members for receiving their own money. That's like compounding the problem, because now you're cutting them off from their family, but you're forcing them to depend on people that are like-minded like them that are going through the same problem. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. It's like you're forcing people to do crime. You know what I'm saying? You're forcing people to racketeer or armed robbery or steal, or you're forcing people into that situation. It's like people that are like-minded are going through the same problems. They can't do nothing but depend on each other. So if you're the system and you're forcing people together, you can't turn around and be mad because they're sticking together.
That's right. You're definitely right.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
What you got to look for is things that separate them individually.
Yeah.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
Their family interests. You can't put a group of people together and say none of y'all can see y'all family, because now all they're going to do is depend on each other. But if you give a couple people their visitation rights, and they get to see their mother, they get to see their brothers, they get to see their daughters or their sons, now that person's an individual. So when he come back to the block and they're talking this gang stuff, it's like, nah, man, I got to chill because I want to see my mother next week. See what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah, so it's crazy to think that that's the tactic they use to try to stop them from sticking together. It's crazy.
Definitely right about that, my brother. Hey, I'm gonna change the temperature a little bit, my brother.
I
want to go back to your past a little bit, man. Like, what's your story on how you grew up as a youth? The experiences you've had, the traumas you may have endured, and what it was that may have led to your incarceration.
Well, like I said, I'm from Queens, New York originally, but I grew up partially in Barbados. I'm from West Indies, Barbados. I'm from West Indies. Both my parents are. I was kicked out at an early age, probably 17, 16. So I still had the desire to succeed in the real world, but I was just getting into high school. So being homeless and having nowhere to live, I was living out of my locker at school. So I'd come to school early, take a shower in the gym, and change my clothes out of the locker, and then I'd be in the cafeteria to get something to eat early and try to mask it that way. But I was still going to school. I was still trying to graduate, But as I was saying, I was in high school, so being broke and homeless led me to started selling drugs, and eventually that pushed the high school or the education stuff out the way. I got arrested for a stolen car, and then my friends was coming down south, which I found out that I could make more money off the drugs that I was selling down south. So I took that opportunity and came down here and started selling drugs down here.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what was it that you was aspiring to be as you was growing up as a kid, man? Like, everybody had that little occupation that they were looking forward to as a kid. Did you ever have any type of occupation that you wanted to be whenever you was growing up as a kid?
Oh, without question. I grew up in a military background.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
My aunt was an Army recruiter, and my father was in the military, so I wanted to be in the Army as I was growing up. I had uncles, aunts, a lot of people, most of my father's aunt's friends was in the military, so I adopted that love for that. That was my desire to be in the military.
Okay, then.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
That's why you're so militant-minded, huh?
Huh?
That's where you get your militant mind frame from, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
That's right.
That was a taught trait. That was a taught trait as well from the 10 years on lockup. Because when I went to lockup, I couldn't hardly read or write. I was reading at a third or fourth grade education. So when I came out, and I only had read one book at that time. So coming out of lockup after 10 years, I read hundreds of books because that was my only safe haven to escape the walls. Go ahead.
That's right. I ended up reading books like the brother George Jackson, huh?
Definitely. He was definitely an inspiration. Master Cody Scott, the list goes on. Bunchy Carter, the brothers, especially like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. These brothers, I drew inspiration from them. Nelson Mandela. Especially Nelson Mandela, he's like one of my heroes because he did double the time that I did in lockup, and I couldn't even imagine doing 26 years.
Yeah, especially down in South Africa during that time frame like that.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's like I can't even imagine what he went through. You know what I'm saying? I know how hard it was for me to go through it, and another brother that did the 40 years in the hole in Angola. Like, I can't think about. I know I'd have went crazy, but I did 10 years, and everybody look at me like, damn, how didn't you go crazy? I don't know. I
that's right.
Equate it to my faith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, them brothers down there in the Angola 3 down there in Louisiana, man. I salute them brothers too as well, man. They went through it too. And George Jackson, man, yeah, definitely, he was my inspiration too as well. Upon this struggle that we living through, you know what I'm saying? Everything he really brought to the light, everything that we're experiencing today, because the brother was going through then, we still going through to today.
The exact same thing, my brother.
Yeah, he's really my inspiration for this Behind the Walls Talk, the website and everything that I'm doing right now, man. Because just as he had faced Fender coming to the prison to check out the prison conditions, the unprofessionalism from the staff and administration, and everything that's going on with guys' cases and everything, you know, we're going through the same thing to this day.
Same thing. It's like they don't change their playbook. It's like once they put the COINTELPRO program into effect, that's Trump's playbook right now. Look at how he's killing all DEI, you know what I'm saying? All the HBCUs, and it's the same playbook.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, we have to be very conscious and aware of what's going on around us, man. So therefore, we'll know what it is. And so we know what it is to come up with the solutions for the problems that we're facing.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm the law library clerk here, right? So, brother, you would not understand how hard it is to try to get people to, because coming up, we didn't know how a bill becomes law. So people get on these tablets and they still don't have the knowledge of, they'll read a bill and think that is law. You see what I'm saying? And I be trying to explain to them. So I'm trying to start like a grassroots classes to bring awareness of how we can affect that law, how the senators and governors got to go to the House and speak as our representatives, our family's representatives, but we don't have advocates. That's the only people that's doing that is Frankie. It's you, Behind the Wall Talks, Michelle Ab. We don't have those advocates. You can look at California, you can look at New York, and look at one of these nonprofit books. They have 3 or 4 pages of nonprofits that's strictly for prisons. We don't have that in the South. So we don't have a voice. If we don't have a voice, then they don't look at us as nothing because they don't see the voice as, they only see voices as votes. And if we're not showing up as votes, if we're not showing up for votes as the ballot box, they don't care because that's all they care about. How could they stay in office longer? You know what I'm saying? We have family members that love us and support us, but they don't know how.
That's exactly right. They don't know how. And
they don't know how.
The conditions, it's how they were conditioned, how they were raised to as well. You know, a lot of our family members and everything, they wasn't raised under the revolutionary banner. They wasn't raised as activists. They wasn't raised.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
To know how to stand against the system. You know what I'm saying? You know, most of our families are working families. They're working families, working class families. You know what I'm saying? All they know is how to make sure their children and everything get up and go to school in the morning, and make sure they come home, do their schoolwork, and then they go to work at 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? Doing their job, working 12 hours a day or whatever.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
Come home, cook, and clean. That's all their life sisters are. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. They get locked in their own. They get locked in their own cycle, which pushes everything else out, and that's how they take advantage of us. Like
a lot of people are afraid of the unknown. They don't know what it is that they're going to face when they're dealing with situations like this. They don't know if there's any type of backlash or anything of that sort coming about. You know, so they feel they were there in their safe zone. That's the bubble of comfort. You know what I'm saying? Nobody likes to come out of that comfort bubble. You know.
But that same comfort level is what Harriet Tubman was talking about when she said, "I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if they only knew they were slaves." We don't even know that we're slaves, brother.
That's right.
We don't even know that we're slaves. So you're a slave. You're slaving to your job. You're slaving to your own existence, which is pushing you away from everything else that you love or say that you love, which is us. Because people are in here, some people are in here for miscarriage of justice. But our families don't know how to voice their opinions about what's going on. You can call your aunts, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters and say, this is what's going on here. These people are taking advantage of me. I just went to the DCC, FCC board for something I did not do. And I'm going to a kangaroo court. But they thinking, well, why would they do that? You know what I'm saying? But they don't understand how corrupt the system is.
That's right. That's right.
So you really don't have an advocate. Like I said, it's like they appoint somebody to do a DHO board that had probably PREA stuff on them from another prison. Now they put him or her in this position as a judge, and they don't have no previous experience with that. Looking at evidence, and all they want to do is the conviction, and that's all they go for. You could be totally innocent of what somebody's doing to you, or assaulted you, or a staff member assaulted you, or anything else. They're just looking at it from the staff member point of view. You have no advocates on your point. Your grievances are useless. They're just a useless piece of paper.
Yeah, so that's my main thing right there, man. Right now, at this point that we're at, and you got these bills and everything on the table, these are the solutions. The bills are the solutions. We got the attention of the legislatures with these bills. So the thing is, man, we need the support of the people. And that's the main fight right there. That's the biggest fight of our lives right there, is getting the support of the people, liberating their minds so therefore they can understand that they need to stand up and they need to speak out about what's really going on. They need to stand up and speak out and support these bills. And understand what's going on and what it is that it take to bring your loved one home, free your loved one. I
think one of the main
lives, man.
You know what I think one of the main secrets is, brother? I've been wanting to share this with you. Is our young brothers and sisters in these colleges. You got to think back to Huey P. Newton. Those brothers that started that movement, they were college kids, man. They were college kids that was fighting for the rights to carry guns, to start breakfast programs for the kids that go to school. Most of the welfare
That's right.
program situation is built off of what they founded. See what I'm saying?
Right.
But if we don't have our best and our brightest at the forefront, like say in Connecticut, they have lawyers that are people that's going to law school. They come into the prison and represent you at your DHO hearing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So imagine if you had that kind of advocacy. That's huge. But it gives the student practice in law, and it gives you and a person that's more knowledgeable than you in the law, and at one of the most important times in your life. See what I'm saying? But we don't have that.
Right.
Our HBCUs and our colleges are not connected to us. They don't. I've been the law library clerk, and I've wrote Duke, Carolina, every last Nexus, asking for donation of books, but nobody has written back. If we don't have our best and our brightest with our interests, we are useless because we don't have a voice. They need to be our voice. We need to get in touch with them.
And you know what? You know what puzzles me? You know, we right here in America, right? You know, and I was seeing how those college students and everything all across America, bro. These college students, with how they were standing and they were protesting and everything about the Hamas and Palestinians and everything that's going on over there across seas. But what about what's going on over here in America? Why are they not fighting about what's going on right here in America with the industrial complexes and the struggles that we're going through right here in America with black folks? You know what I'm saying? Why are they not?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
That's what they were doing back in the 60s and the 70s, and they got away from it.
Right.
Now they protesting about what's going on across seas. Well, we ain't even having the problems that are going on right here in our backyard.
Across the street. I mean, we need the lawyers and across the nation. These people don't support us because they have a vested interest.
You have 60 seconds remaining. You have 30 seconds remaining.
So if you're taking advantage of...
Hey, hold on, pardon myself, my brother. Hey, call back, brother. Behind the Walls Talk will continue. Behind the Walls Talk continue with my brother, Mr. Shawn Bonnett. Yeah, we were speaking about the youth and everything, man. And exactly everything that you were saying is exactly what the youth need to hear. And they need to take heed to every word that you said because, you know, they're the future. And that's what they got to understand, that they are the future. They're going to have generations to follow them. So therefore, they got to understand that what they do and how they lead, they have to lead by example. So therefore, the future generations can follow their lead and do as they did, follow the footsteps that they created in the sand and the dirt and the snow and everything else, where they took their steps at, doing what they had to do.
We have to understand, we have to restrict their access to these phones, to the media, because they're designed to be addictive algorithms.
Distraction.
I did not realize that until I experienced it myself, bro. That's to be honest. Until I
This
experienced
call
it
is from a
myself.
North Carolina correctional facility.
The loss of a cell phone, or the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up, you're going to see what TikTok is doing instead of praying to God and telling them thank you for putting life back into my body. These are addictive behaviors. This is how they get our youth attention. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
But they make it easy. They make it easy because they put one in every child's hands. So if you got the child's attention, you got their future. If me and you go into invade a country right now,
this call is from a North Carolina correctional facility,
and you say, yo, I want control of all the money, and I say, okay, give me control of the media. Eventually, I'm gonna get all your money because I have the mind of the people that develop their thoughts, that control the money. And that's what they do to our children. That's what they do to our youth, because they make it seem like what they're looking at is more important than what they're living.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. Hey, but I'm gonna tell you, this is a powerful interview right here, my brother. You're speaking upon a lot of facts, man, and you're speaking about a lot of things. They need to be heard, and man. Hey, check this out, man. Since you've been incarcerated, have you had to deal with the death of any loved ones, family, or friends?
A lot of friends. Like I said, there was one point on death row where they was executing people. It seemed like every month, and that was hard to live through. Couple of friends in the street, but you know, you kind of chalk that up with the life that they're living. The lady that raised me in Barbados, Mrs. Lovell, Allah has spared me from losing anyone that came out of my loins. So I'm just blessed to not be faced with that as of yet.
Hey, let me ask you something. You know, with being on death row and having life without parole right now, right? You know, hey, my brother, I'm gonna tell you, I have all the confidence in the world that you're gonna definitely be set free. And you know, I would like to know, and I'm pretty sure the listeners would like to know too, what a second chance in society would mean to you.
Oh man, it would mean everything. I believe in my heart that God, Allah is not going to put a burden on you that you cannot bear. And a second chance in society, I believe the skill set that I bring will save lives. That may seem like a lofty goal, but being who I am and know the way I have affected my community in a bad way, I affected my community to the point where people know me in towns or know of me in towns that I've never even set foot in. If I can have a tenth of that on a good aspect, I will be happy. If I'm able to put a kid, a child through my program of Out for Good, where he's financially stable going into college and coming out of college being financially stable, not being dependent on the system or the credit card or having student loans and debts, that's where I feel like I've achieved something. And that's my goal with my nonprofit. I don't want it to be about money with me. We have kids literally eating out of garbage cans because the people ran out of welfare money during the middle of the month. This is happening all over the country. So with my nonprofit, once I do the commercial cleaning for a restaurant, I am going to take donations of food and repurpose them. The same thing we do here, brother. Like we get a box of chicken. We don't eat all the chicken at one time. We do some fried rice with half of it. We may eat a couple pieces here and there. But the thing is with the FDA, they don't allow these restaurants to sell old food, which is the food that they cook and heat up again. So what do they do with the food but throw it away? You see what I'm saying? I want to create a process where they stop, my people could stop eating garbage. I want to repurpose that food the same way we do here and give that out to the hood. Give that out to people that are needed, that are on welfare. That's my goal. My goal is to teach everything that I've learned here and teach it to my youth. Plumbing, electrical and wiring, commercial cleaning. Every class that I took here, I want to take it and teach it to my kids. My kids meaning my community, my hood, my environment.
That's right.
These classes that they can easily pass in community colleges, but they don't see it that way. Barbershop schools. These classes are simple to take, but the certificates that the community colleges teach us here.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
The community colleges are not reaching out into the environments that they're supposed to service. They just sitting there. We never heard of community college going into the projects telling them, all right, can you cut hair, come to my school? Come to my school. Can you, are you interested in plumbing, electrical, and wiring? There's no publication of these classes. They feel like you're just supposed to know and understand how to get to them. I want to be that bar. I want to show them it can happen. I want to show them what success looks like. I want to show them.
This call is from a North Carolina correctional facility.
That a black brother or sister could be a professor at a college, could be own their own barbershop, own their own beauty salon, could be what Frankie is, get her CDLs and become an independent wife. These things are important, but they don't know that they're important because we don't publicize them. We don't give that to our youth. I'm going to be that. I'm going to do that. That's going to be my life work.
That's like showing them the alternatives to selling drugs and robbing and stealing and everything else. That's right.
Or scamming. I heard the new thing now is scamming.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely right. That's the new thing now, scamming now.
Yeah, you gotta fight somebody behind a computer that you never even met. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the new thing. They get $200,000, $300,000 in 10 minutes. Like, the drug game can't compete with that.
Information and everything.
Yeah, it's over for you. The next thing you know, they pushing a Ferrari in the hood.
Taking money out your
bank account. Yeah, that's it.
Stuff.
That's the new thing. That's the new wave. So, like I said, we got to go back to working and being proud of looking at that check. Working,
that's right.
Refurbishing a house and being proud of this is where I live and this is mine. Working for real estate, not fake estate. That they got our kids looking for or fiending for is fake estate. I want real estate, something I could hold, something I could plant something on, and something I could call mine.
That's right. That's right. Hey, my brother, I swear, man, this has been a wonderful interview. I can't say it any more times, but this has definitely been a wonderful interview. My wife, she enjoyed it too as well, and I'm pretty sure all the listeners of Behind the Walls Talk is going to enjoy this interview right here. This is my brother, Shawn Bonnett. Support this brother. Contact this brother. Make sure you reach out to this brother, man, and serve his needs, because this brother here, man, he's gonna be a definite pillar in the community. He needs to be out there in society with his family and with the community, with the kids out there, so therefore he can teach them and educate them and give them the proper guidance that they need in their lives. He's definitely going to make a big change in our community. He can make a big change in this world in itself. So make sure you contact this brother, man. It's my brother, Mr. Shawn Bonnett, man. Hey, I thank you, my brother, for giving us this wonderful interview, man.
I thank you, my brother, for you, Frankie, Behind the Wall Talks. I sincerely thank you, man. This is from me and my family, and I thank you with all my heart, my brother. Please keep up the fight. Please keep up the fight, man.
That's right, man. We're going to always keep up that fight, man. We live for the people, and we're going to die for the people because we love the people. That is my brother, Fred.
We love the people. We love the people, bro.
So with that said, man, peace from Behind the Walls Talk.